on YouTube. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. All right. We are live on YouTube. We are live on YouTube. How's everyone doing today? How's it going? Welcome to the show, everyone. Man, I'm getting out on my walks later and later each and every day. There's just so much going on. I'll be taking off my shades probably in about 10 minutes. The sun's gonna, well, the sun's already going down. But, you know, it's gonna be dark, which is what I'm trying to say. It's gonna be dark before I even finish my first lap, more than likely. So it is what it is. Hope you're all having a good one. We've got the dog training class out here now because the other area where they were doing dog training is roped off for something else or closed off for something else. So it's getting harder and harder to do these walks at the park. But when you're pressed for time, and just like this topic today, when you're overwhelmed with so much going on and you're pressed for time, sometimes you got to do what you got to do. Anyway, yeah, I'll just show you folks what's going on over here. Here is that over here. Yeah, I'm sorry, folks. I'm really, really overwhelmed. And if there's one thing you have or haven't noticed about me, you'll notice it now. But I'm raw and real. I talk about how I feel regarding what I'm going through in real time. That's why I have two channels. Or the GNA has two channels, but I'm the president and founder of the GNA. ODN, how are you doing, bro? Hope smash that like. How you doing, brother? Welcome to the show. Great to see you here. Before we get to it, if you don't already know me, if we haven't met before, my name is Elias Melas, but you can call me Eli for short. And I am the president and founder of the Genuine Networking Association, or GNA for short. And my mission as the president and founder of this organization, let's just say my mission as the founder, is to help you become the best version of yourself that you can be at little or no cost. That's the whole purpose of the organization, is to help provide services to people that they greatly need, either at no cost or a very reasonable cost. What I do here is not to be profitable. Now, that doesn't mean I don't need to make money. I do. Because even when you're running, eventually the GNA is going to turn into a nonprofit, or at least partially, like I've been mentioning in the last few days. But, you know, I don't need to be a for-profit company. I don't really even like the for-profit structure. I've always been the type of guy that just wants to help people in any way that I can. If I can help people for free and sustain at least an okay lifestyle, I would do it. Obviously, you can't. You need money to survive, right? But here to the GNA, we're not here to sell you a pipe dream. We're here to truly help you. Hey, Tia. How's it going? Welcome to the show. So that's a bit about the GNA, and we've been in progress of making a transition here on both of my monetized channels that I run with my girlfriend, Dawn. Again, Coach Elias Melas, the main channel, is now GNA, Genuine Personal Development, is the name of the channel. And this channel here, formerly known as Coach Eli 2 Authentic Live Streams, is now GNA 2 Genuine Live Personal Development. And that's that. Now, there are a lot more aspects of the GNA, but our primary focus is self-improvement / personal development, because everyone deserves to become a better person, to learn more, and it's just ironic to me how some people devalue and discredit personal development and self-improvement and self-help type of information. I will tell you, I'm going to use my girlfriend Dawn as an example again. Not use her because I love her. Not use her in the way of abusive usage. I'm gonna share an example. It's a better way to put it. Using my girlfriend's situation, because we want to help people, right? And I'm going to use that in the example of the topic here, being overwhelmed. Because Dawn and I have been extremely overwhelmed lately. There's a lot going on. I'm going to share with you folks today how I handle it. All right? It's not easy. Is it stressful? Yes. Is stress good for you? No. Can you help being overwhelmed at times? No. It happens to everyone. It happens to the best of us, right? And even though stress is not good, because you can't help being overwhelmed at times, you also can't help being stressed out at times. But you can minimize your stress level by doing what I share with you here today. And it's not easy. It's not easy. You gotta work up to this, right? And I'll make this very clear to the people out there in a former community that are still trying to linger on and talk about, what I'm talking about here regarding my girlfriend or her family. I mean, if you want to respond to that, it's all good. I don't care. If I run into your posting, I'll just look at it and then just click away and say whatever, right? Because honestly, I'm not here for the drama. I'm here to truly help people. I'm here to be real and share what actually happens in relationships. I'm here to share what really happens in the real world, because how in the world can you help people if you're not being real? And nowadays, because of the internet and live streaming, we could do this in real time, which is absolutely the best, because then people can engage and share with you what they're struggling with, and we can all talk about it. And one of the best ways to get through tough situations, being overwhelmed, dealing with stressful situations, is to talk about it with people other people, because everyone goes through it. Everyone should talk about it, right? And that's what I'm doing here, right? One of the main reasons I've been overwhelmed lately is because of some deep emotional things my girlfriend Dawn's going through. And I'm not blaming her one bit. I miss my woman coming out here and doing content with me and sharing our happiness with everyone, because Dawn and I are happy. We are happy. We're very happy. But there are things that she's going through and people go through that are so draining and emotionally taxing that it can appear like a couple like us is not happy, but we are happy. We are truly happy. If I didn't love Dawn, I wouldn't be with her. I wouldn't be dealing with any of this if I didn't love her. And again, I want to share this, and we want to share this with you because we know we're not the only ones. Everyone goes through this, right? Give me a second here. There was some dude hiding or up against that tree back there. That was kind of weird. I don't know what he was doing there. Maybe he was taking a leak or something. This is also the bad reception area, folks, so forgive me if reception goes a little cuckoo over here, okay? But over the last, couple of weeks, Dawn has been very, very drained. And again, I want to make this very clear. And we've already talked with the doctors and everything, and the psychologists, the psychiatrists, and other doctors. We're all communicating, even with myself and Dawn, and we've got a great game plan. But no matter how good of a game plan you have, certain things will affect even the most normal human being. So I cannot blame Dawn for feeling the way she's feeling. I understand why she's feeling the way she's feeling. In my younger days, I've been massively depressed over shit before, especially when I didn't love myself as much as I do today. That's why self-love is so important. You folks think, see, a lot of you think this is stupid shit. A lot of you think this is stupid fucking content, right? Boring, stupid content. But the truth of the matter is, it all boils down to self-love. You got to find a way to love yourself, because if you don't love yourself, any little thing's going to piss you off and hurt you and fuck you up emotionally. That's the truth of the matter. Maybe I could have used some more professional vocabulary, but fuck it. That's the way I talk. If you don't like it, so be it. Right? But over the last several weeks, ever since the time where, Dawn's mother got upset about me because she thought I handled Dawn's seizure improperly when Dawn had a seizure at her parents' place. And then Dawn's mother got upset because I was broadcasting live from their place, right? I was broadcasting live from their place, just showing the woods. I didn't show their house. I showed the woods, the trees. And then when that wellness check was made, because when Dawn was having a night terror, she said something that sounded real to somebody, and then they called the local sheriff. Then the local sheriff comes out there, and then Dawn's mom is thinking that they hacked her IP because I was using their Wi-Fi because the cell reception there isn't that great. I've got to go off to the street here because there's a older lady and her daughter there. I got a boogie. Give me a second. Ho Hen with the $10 super chat. This is the last day of the month too. Wow, brother. I'll get to your super chat in a second. Thank you. Thank you so much for your $10 super chat, brother. Now we got two people coming with their dogs. You figure coming this late, no one's going to be out walking, but everyone is out walking right now. Everyone is out walking right now. It's all good. It was like 80 degrees or so today, and it's just starting to cool down, so it's all good. ODN, thanks so much. So yeah, Dawn's mother thought that her Wi-Fi was hacked. No, ma'am, your Wi-Fi was not hacked. And the only reason she thinks they found her place because someone hacked the Wi-Fi. No. Ma'am, the reason why they found where you live is because they know your daughter's first and last name because your daughter is with me and we're both YouTubers. And they did a background check and found out prior addresses where your daughter lived, which was one was your place. That's common sense, ma'am. But you want to blame me for broadcasting live because I'm trying to make extra money to help your daughter, right? To help your daughter that I love and will give everything to. Yeah, someone hacked Dawn's mom's Wi-Fi. And then that's how they got the address and called the wellness check. No. Ma'am, they did a background check. Today we have something called the internet. And you put in someone's first and last name and as much information as you know, their age, approximate age, and what state they're in, etc. And boom, there you go. Or they can just type my name and see that your daughter Dawn's a known associate of mine. And click on her background and then look at previous residents, which one of them was your house. And then you were in the mountains, so they put two and two together. but no, because of me broadcasting live on their property, somebody hacked their Wi-Fi. I swear to God, man. The things I deal with, man, the things I just deal with. I'm going to have to go around because there's lots of people at the park right now. ODN, let me get to your super chat here. Get Dawn those neurological pills. I told you to get her. I'll donate some more money when you get them. I'll get them, bro. Thank you so much, ODN. Thank you so much for your $10. Appreciate that, man. Last day of the month. Last day of the month, folks. These dudes are playing volleyball out here every day. You hardly see guys play volleyball. No disrespect. I mean, guys can play volleyball, but it's more of a chick sport, right? Listen, I'm not saying, like I said, I'm not saying that guys can't do things that more so women do, because women nowadays do things that once only men would do, right? But yeah, I've never seen guys play volleyball like so regularly as these guys have been playing out here at the volleyball court. Anyway, more power to you. You're getting your exercise in, right? It's all good in the hood. Right. So let's get back to what I was saying about Dawn. Oh, first, ODN says, yeah, it is bizarre. Guys are wearing sandals and playing volleyball nowadays. I know, dude. Listen, look, I'm not saying I've never played volleyball, but I used to play volleyball with the girls in grammar school. The girls love to play volleyball, dude. And us guys would play with them because we, back then before we thought girls had cooties, right? Because girls mature faster than men, right? They already liked us, but we're like, no, you have cooties. So we would go play volleyball with the girls in grammar school. Because, I mean, no disrespect. I mean, I'm not saying that women aren't good at sports. They are. But, us guys would go in there and we would just like, slam the balls hard and like just mess with them a little bit, right? We didn't hurt them or anything. We were just having fun, right? Is that incident what started more tension between Don's mom and you? Absolutely. Don's mom doesn't like me because she knows I'm the only one that has the balls to stand up to her bullshit. That's it. That's the bottom line to you. The bottom line is my beautiful, wonderful, amazing woman is emotionally traumatized by her family, by her mother and her daughter. That's the bottom line. I'm sorry. I can't help it. I got to be real because it's happening every day. And I love Dawn. We hang out, we talk, but she sleeps a lot. And this has nothing to do with alcohol. These people think, oh, it's alcohol, this and that. No, it's not the alcohol at all. Her and I have a beer every now and then. Dawn doesn't drink like she used to. I don't drink like I used to. It's not the alcohol. It is emotional trauma. Okay? It is emotional trauma that primarily stems from the way her mother treats her, the way her mother doesn't go to bat for her, against her daughter, which is her mother's granddaughter. Dawn was telling me today, I didn't know about this till she told me. She goes, yeah, my son Jeremy was in town weeks ago, and I was hoping he was going to reach out. And then I talked to my mom. My mom said, oh, he's just not ready to talk to me yet. These are grown-ass adults not understanding what they're putting their mother through, what the trauma not only they're putting their mother through, but more so, Don's mother, a woman in her 60s that should know better and understand how it would feel to go through this herself, let alone do it to your own daughter, for Christ's sake. And then you shit on me for being the one that truly gives a shit about her and does everything for her? GTFOH. Come on. We're going to keep it real here because here's the thing. If we're going to help people with their personal development and personal improvement, we're going to keep it real with you and tell you what's going on. It's not a bad thing. It's not. You got to tackle things head on. August 3rd is the next one. That's this weekend. Maybe I'll take Dawn to this. If not September 7th. I'd rather take Dawn to this when she's, not depressing over her family as much. She goes through periods of time. And I don't blame her. We all go through depression. We all go through it. But this woman has constantly gone through it. Certain periods every year, she misses her kids every day, don't get me wrong. But certain events that happen every year, or like her son that's been living out of state for a while now, when he comes into town and he hears about it, she hears about it from her mother and stuff, and then he doesn't reach out. I mean, come on. What kind of a person are you to shut out your own mother? Both of these kids shut out their own mother. Their own mother wouldn't hurt a fly. She's not a bad person. Has she been through stuff? Of course she has. These kids don't even realize what she's been through. And let me tell you this. All of you don't know certain things that she's been through that would really crack this shit wide open. I'll tell you that. But I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to go there. And that's why I think Dawn's mother's triggered, because, listen, when you love someone, they tell you everything. You tell them everything. Dawn and I have no secrets. And let me tell you this. For this woman to be dealing with all this trauma, especially something that we haven't even gone public on and never will, trust me, if we ever went public on this, which we won't, you folks would understand. You'd be like impressed. Wow, how is she holding up after all that? Yeah. I'm proud of her. I'm proud of her. Listen, it's a struggle at times. When in my head and my heart, I do everything I can to help my lady. I love her. I do everything for her every day, right? And then she has these moments because of how her family's treating her. And sometimes she, because she's frustrated, not at me, at them, because she's frustrated at them, if I make one little mistake, it triggers her more because she's already in a shitty mood because of her family, right? And then I pay the price for it. Now, I can understand her reacting. I get it. I'm not upset about it, right? I understand it. My whole thing is, I'm just tired. I'm tired of BS like this. I'm not tired of my woman. I'll never be tired of my woman. I'm never going to hold something against my woman that is not her fault, that is out of her control. But I will do whatever I can to soften the blow for her. And if these people won't talk to me and they won't talk to her, whatever, then you know what? We'll just keep using them as content. Yeah, now I'm going to use you as content, ma'am, because I have the rights to do so. I could talk about whatever I want. That's called freedom of speech. And if you don't want to be a part of my real life stories and be embarrassed for your behavior, then stop fucking behaving this way. You put yourself in this position, not me, not your daughter. You put yourself in this position. You can change it. "49 years of trauma." But I'll say this. The last 35 years or so, because until she got to a certain age where she could really comprehend things, like in her teen years, the last 35 years or so have been one trauma after the other. Not her fault, out of her control. And again, before you people judge, before some of you judge out there, you don't know the full story. And you will never know the full story because there are things we just won't talk about. But again, if you knew those things, and you can try to figure out and assume what I'm talking about, we're never going to confirm anything. We won't even acknowledge you. If you knew those things, then you would understand why I feel the way I feel and why Dawn feels the way she feels. And how traumatic all of this is. And then you tell me not to talk about it? Go F yourselves. I'll talk about what I want to talk about. Because if I have to deal with all this crap, when I don't deserve to deal with this crap. Now, I'm not holding my woman accountable for it. But what my woman's going through, it really wears me down. It really does. Not because of her reactions, because of what her mother is putting her through. That triggers me. It triggers me. It really fucking triggers me. It does. It does. I've had a lot of relationships in my life. I've never, ever, ever, ever had any issues with any parents that I met through through dating. Look at this. Here's an interesting fact. My ex-girlfriend Dana used to live in Novato, and look at this company, Thompson Builders. It's from Novato, California. That is interesting. If this dude lives in the North Bay, he must be making some good money because it is massively even more expensive to live in the North Bay, north of the Golden Gate Bridge, than here. Wow. And Novato's a nice area. That whole Marin County is a beautiful, beautiful area. Great hiking trails, great people. Every second person there owns a damn Tesla, too. God. More than out here. I mean, we have enough Teslas out here, but you know what I'm saying? The sun hasn't gone done. It hasn't gone down yet. Tia says, that has to be so hard for Dawn and you. I feel those kids will regret treating their mom this way. I imagine there is more that maybe shouldn't be said publicly. I get why you're pissed. Oh, there's a lot more. There's a lot more to be said. Because here's the thing. You know, people have come at me. You know, for talking, I can talk about whatever I want to talk about, right? People have come at me. People are saying, oh, you know, Dawn is messed up and, you know, blah, 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 and this and that, right? No, Dawn is not messed up in the ways you think. Dawn and I are good. Anyone that would be going through the trauma that Dawn's going through from her family would be feeling at least the same way or worse. So don't sit here and tell me that I shouldn't talk about this. I'll talk about what I want to talk about. It's a great example. And I'm real time. I'm in real time. I'll share stories real time or in real time because that's the way people learn the best, right? It is your right to say how you feel, says Tia. I hope Dawn doesn't get upset. Well, you know, that's why she hasn't been doing the shows lately, because not because she doesn't want to, because she doesn't have the energy to do them. And it's because of emotional drain. It's just emotional drain. And so, you know, it's like I'm at the point right now where I may even just reach out to her son. Maybe write him a letter or something and say, look, dude, you're causing your mom severe health issues. And that's the woman that gave you birth. And listen, you know, the fact you keep saying that, you know, you're just not ready to talk with her, well, what the hell's your problem? Do you not have any respect for the woman that carried you in her stomach for 9 months? I mean, what kind of a human being treats their mother like that? Like, Dawn is not a bad person. Has she made some mistakes? We all have. But it's like these fucking people in her family, her mother, her daughter, and her son, they're treating her like she's like she's committed capital murder or something. Like, honestly, well, what the hell, man? It really pisses me off. Like, I swear to God, people that commit capital murder get treated better than Dawn does. This is bullshit, man. All these people need to get over themselves, for Christ's sake. And Dawn's mom can clear this up. But she doesn't want to clear it up because in order for Dawn's mom to clear it up, she would have to own up to shit that would make her look bad and make Dawn look good, right? And she doesn't want to do that, right? Because you gave birth to that girl. You gave birth to that girl, but you don't want to go to bat for her because you're more concerned about your reputation over your mistakes. Your reputation is shit because you can't admit your mistakes like most people do. And my level of respect, and is that going to hurt Dawn? Because Dawn loves her mom, right? I will do whatever it takes to make Dawn happy, including sitting there and getting beat up by her mother verbally, verbal abuse from her mother, right? I'll sit there and take punches literally from Dawn's mother just to make Dawn happy because Dawn deserves happiness. Dawn doesn't deserve anything she's been through. I will take the punches from her mother, and I'll protect even Dawn from her own mother. There, you heard it. That's the truth of the matter. And if anyone thinks I'm nuts, I don't give a shit. Because Dawn has close friends I've met in person and have talked to by phone. They know the whole story. They know everything. Even the stuff we haven't mentioned. They know everything. And they agree. They feel the same way. And do you folks not think that this has affected Dawn's past relationships? All the stuff that happened, including Dawn losing her nursing license, what was happening with her family, affected her emotions, affected the man she was with. That probably wasn't the most stable man initially because this dude had 4 DUIs anyway himself, right? You take an already unstable man and then you put him in a relationship with a woman that's being abused by her family, emotionally and verbally. She seeks help from a guy that's already not in the best state emotionally, and then it gets violent. I mean, look at what this whole thing has caused. You folks don't understand. You folks don't know what's going on. You don't know what's going on. I'm speaking out because I'm tired. I'm tired of people getting in the way with treating their own family like garbage and then making excuses. Making excuses for the reasons why, like Dawn's mom makes excuses for the reasons why her kids don't talk to her. You're making excuses, ma'am, to cover your shit up. And I'm tired of that. And you're mad at me because you know I know the truth. And you're afraid I'm going to expose the truth, right? And I'm not going to do that because I'm not that kind of person. I love your daughter and I love your family. But you got to fix this. You got to fix this with Dawn and with her daughter and with her son. You can fix this. You've got to fix this. You got to fix this because I'm tired of it. I was going to back off, but now it's like, you know what? It's affecting me every single day. It's affecting the woman I love every single day. And that's why I've been overwhelmed. Part of the reason I've been overwhelmed is because of the situation that Dawn's dealing with regarding her family, with the emotions. This is not an alcohol issue. This is emotional abuse. Right? This is emotional torment. Heck, having a beer or two or so every now and then is not going to make you feel like this. But, you know, when your family is not talking with you, including your mother, and blaming you for everything and never owning up to their actions, how do you expect someone like Dawn to feel? I'd feel probably worse than her if I was in her shoes. You got to put yourself in her shoes. You got to put yourself in other people's shoes, right? That's what I wish her mother would do, is put herself in her daughter's shoes, but she's not doing that. And that makes me even more mad. Maybe not mad, I'm disappointed. Let's use a better word. Let's be more mature, right? Let's be a little more mature about this and say, I'm very disappointed. Being mad, that's not going to resolve shit. It's not going to do anything. Instead of pouring more fuel on the fire. Being disappointed, yeah, that's for damn sure. I'm disappointed. Very disappointed. Thank you again, ODM, for your $10 super chat. It's very overwhelming. And it's not just the Dawn situation. Like, I'm rebranding my coaching business to integrate it more with my overall business, the GNA. That rebrand, honestly, alone can suck up an entire workday like that. So I'm working on this major rebrand. And if you think my rebrand sucks because you've trolled me in the past, go fuck yourself, like I've been saying. Okay? I don't care. I love what I'm doing, and the right people love what I'm doing too. But let me let these people walk on by. Give me a second. Give me a second here. Tia says, I get how you feel. My husband's kids stopped talking to him for no reason. I saw the hurt he went through. That hurt he felt turned to anger. He was just done with them. So let me ask you something, Tia. So were these kids from a previous marriage? These weren't your kids, right? If that's not too personal. And before your husband passed away, was he ever able to rekindle the relationship with his kids? Or did he go to the grave with that same thing? No disrespect intended. It's actually a very beautiful night at Red Morton Park. And I guess like the moon is bright tonight, so it's not even really that dark yet. I'm surprised. I'm not going to do a third lap. I've done so much work around the house. I've gotten so much exercise lately, so 2 laps, which is 2.5 miles, that'll be good for today. So, I'm just kind of curious if Tia, she's probably typing it out on her phone. It takes longer to type on the phone. That's why when I'm typically watching streams, at times I'll sit on my laptop because I have the bigger keyboard. It's easier to type. Typing on these iPhones and Androids like Samsung Galaxies, etc. It's easy. It's a little easier now because the phones have gotten bigger, but still they're not as big as a regular keyboard. Tia says, yes. Previous, nope, he never reconciled. His ex was a bitch that came to the funeral. I had her escorted out. Wow. So his own kids disowned him probably because of his ex, right? And he's probably the nicest guy in the world. You see, the same thing I believe happened to Dawn with her ex, right? Dawn is the nicest person in the world. She has the biggest heart and soul in the world. If she didn't, she'd be out my door. She wouldn't be living with me. I wouldn't be fighting for her. I'm fighting for Dawn because I know who she really is. I know the kind of person she is. And I know that she's the victim. She is honestly the victim here. Just like your husband was the victim of the ex-wife that probably turned the kids against him. And it just tore up your husband's heart. It's one thing for two people to not work in a marriage, right, or a relationship. But if you have kids, you're sharing custody of your kids, right? And then as they get older, there's no more custody because they're adults, right? I just think that if kids disown a good parent, right, then someone else got in the way and manipulated them and led them to believe something that's not true to turn their kids against them, right? It's the same kind of stuff that people have tried to do to me out here on. It's a little like pug barking at me, man. GTFOH, man. Here's the volleyball court. Let me show you that. We still have some good enough light here. It's amazing. The low light compensation is working really well. The time I get back to the lot, it'll definitely be dark. And they have, look here. You see this? This is a string for the bounds. You know, the boundaries, the bounds. Out of bounds. That's very dangerous to put string there. They should use like spray paint or something else. A string there, you could trip over it very easily, no matter how tight it is or how. String is not the right thing to use there. But I think those guys, they're Hispanic guys, I think they jimmy rigged that. It's just not safe, but hey, it is what it is. I got other things to worry about. That is a concern, though. Tia says, yes, the ex did some horrible things. He hated no one but her. I think he just had enough. He loved them, but couldn't let it affect his life. Well, Don's going through the same thing. So I guess, so we can relate to that, huh, Tia? Because even though they're not your kids, you know, you dealt with it because you were married to him for a while. And so we can relate to the situation there, right? Your partner, just like my partner, went through the same situation when he was around. God rest his soul and God bless him, right? And it just sucks. It just sucks because I was going to say a second ago, that's what these people have done to me out here on YouTube. They've tried to paint me as this horrible person. They've tried to paint me as a disabled hater. I don't hate anyone, let alone disabled people. Do I not like certain things anyone does? Yeah, and does that mean disabled people are immune from making mistakes? No. Right? But so many people out here, even for just for content, for lolcow shits and giggles content, they've tried to paint me as this really bad person to keep people away from my channel, to keep me from growing, so that way they can keep making fun of me and making money at my expense, right? It's a similar concept. Like, people that do this kind of shit are just miserable fucking people, Tia. I bet his ex-wife was a miserable fucking clown, okay? And in all honesty, here's the thing. I hate to say this. I hate to say this. And look, I don't hate Don's mom or anything, but look, I think the reason why Don's mom is acting the way she is. Hang on, let me let these people with the dogs walk by. I think Don's mom is miserable in some capacity. I think Don's mom is holding a grudge against Don over something. That's what I think it is. And that something is something her mother doesn't want to own up to. Because she doesn't want to look bad. So, and I think her mother is in fears that we're going to talk. And no, we're not going to go that far. Some things are meant to remain personal. But that's what her mother fears. Her mother fears getting exposed, something being exposed that could tarnish her family's name, right? And so you hold it against your daughter. I'm not going to go any further into this, but it all ties in together. I'm not going to go any further, but the bottom line is, it's like her mother knows I've figured this whole thing out, and her mother's pissed at me because her mother's afraid I'm going to just vomit everything. And here's the thing. I'll tell you this. I could blow this shit wide open and probably triple the growth of my channel and probably get more eyes on me and this and that, right? But what would that cost me? Probably cost me my relationship with Dawn. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that even to Dawn's mother. I want to show Dawn's mother I'm a better person, that I can keep my mouth shut. Well, what I'm saying is, internally within the family, ma'am, you need to clear your daughter's name. You need to clear your daughter's name. Because your daughter does not deserve what she's going through. And here's the thing. When Dawn was I'm going to say this, I don't care, it doesn't matter. When Dawn was having a seizure at Dawn's parents' place, Dawn's mom was so freaked out because I called them over when Dawn was having the seizure, and her mom and her dad ran over. And Dawn's mom thought that she had lost her daughter. She thought her daughter died. Let me tell you something, ma'am. This is something that I'll probably even send her, you know what? I'll probably just, send her mother a link to this video. I don't give a shit. I'll send her a link to it. I don't care. I want her to see this. I do. I really do want her to see this. I'll just send it myself. I don't care. Here's the thing, ma'am. You're worried about your daughter dying over a seizure, right? Now, that's a valid concern, ma'am. But you should be more concerned over what you're putting your daughter through emotionally regarding that situation. I don't even want to say it. You're the one that's pushing her over the edge with all this. But at the same time, you're freaking out that you thought your daughter had passed away when that seizure happened. Right? But where are you now? Where are you now to deal with what I'm dealing with? Right? And I deal with it because I love Dawn. And I want to make this right. And I even want to make things right with you. Right? So this has been overwhelming to me, along with the GNA rebrand. Along with, I had to take the dogs in to get their rabies shot the other day, one at a time. Then these dogs are not the most, they're very domesticated, like many dogs are. So, we take them out, but not as often as we should. We take them out. When we take them out, they're like excited and they piss and shit everywhere. That's what they do. I'll get to the chat here in a second. Accept or tolerate, says Sandra. Let me read some past messages here. Santa Palacio, welcome to the show. I'm sure it hurt your husband, Tia. He let it go. Like you said, he was done. He had to for the peace of his mind, and he had you, Tia. Yeah, but here's the thing, Sandra, no disrespect. There's a difference between men and women. We process our emotions differently. Now, I'm not saying that Dawn is incapable of working through this. She is, and that's why, she's got her therapist and all of that. This is not her fault. But it is much more difficult for women to work through something like this than a man. Listen, it still hurts a man. Like, look, I've been in emotional pain many times in my life. I've been through depression, right? I've gotten sick over shit like this. Not as bad, but pretty close. But I worked through it because I looked at myself in the mirror and I said, you know what, I'm a man and I got to go on. I can't let this affect me. It's out of my control. If it's out of my control, why let it get to me, even if it's regarding family? But it is much harder, in my opinion, for women to work through stuff like this because of the way women process their emotions differently than men. And listen, I'm not saying that men can't get emotional. We do. And sometimes we're more emotional than you. But the men that are more emotional than women all the time are beta males. They're not acting like real men. They're acting like beta female dogs. Let's call them that for, a nicer way to say it on YouTube, right? They're the beta bitches, right? Right? We're at 56 minutes. We're going to be going off the air in about 4 or 5 minutes, folks. Get your final questions, comments, or concerns in the chat. Tia says, Sandra, you're correct. We had a good life, and he wasn't going to let it affect our life. Those kids had a great upbringing. He was active in their life. Why would those kids do that to him and not even reconcile before he passes away? Like, honestly, like Tia, here's the thing. No disrespect intended to his kids. I know I know they're like family to you, right? But honestly, are these actually good kids for treating their father that way? Any grown-ass mature adult, I can understand even young adults. Like right now, Dawn's daughter is 29 years old. I can understand her behaving this way at 29 still, but when she hits 35 or 40, if she's still behaving this way, there's no excuse. Like by the time you get to your mid to late 30s, early 40s, you're a full-blown adult. Like, it's like you've had enough experience to understand stuff and to understand how putting yourself or how you being in a similar situation would affect you if you were on the flip side of the receiving end of what you're giving, right? You always got to put yourself on the receiving end of what you're giving and see how it would make you feel, right? Santa Paula says, everyone has their own sense of control. Here, one cannot make one do something they do not want nor are ready to do, be it right or wrong. One must accept their choices. Accept or tolerate, says Sandra. Sandra says, as I know it, the whole situation is jacked up. Are you talking about the Don situation, Sandra? I know, easier said than done. Well, Sandra Palacio says, well, shit, look at these people you deal with on YouTube. They don't act like adults. Yeah, but they're not family, Sandra. Here's the thing, Sandra. People that aren't family or aren't close friends, I could care less about if they're treating me like shit. If people are treating me nice, I'll treat them the same way, right? If they're treating me like shit, I won't necessarily treat them like shit in return. I'll just ignore them and move on because there's no emotional attachment, Sandra. You gotta understand, with family, especially someone that comes out of a woman's hoo-ha, like Don's daughter coming out of Don's hoo-ha, Don almost bled out, lost a lot of blood giving birth to that girl. That's a serious emotional attachment. There's no comparison between that and the people on YouTube, right? My point is actions as an adult. I understand that. Actions as an adult, I'll give you that. Yes, I agree with you. The actions are not adult-like, right? But it is much easier to walk away from these morons on YouTube these miserable clowns on YouTube than it would be to walk away from one of your own kids. Because your kids they've been fed a bunch of BS from other people in the family, in this case, Dawn's mom. And maybe, Dawn's ex-husband, their father. Dawn's ex-husband, their father, a cop, manipulator. Sounds like to me that your husband's ex-wife, Tia, was just like Dawn's ex-husband and Dawn's mother, pretty much. He was a victim of circumstance. And he didn't want to play the victim. Most guys don't want to play the role of the victim. We don't. I know I don't. But does that mean we're never a victim? No. A lot of times we are victims, even though we don't want to call ourselves a victim because of the stereotype, right? The stigma, especially online. Ooh, Eli's playing the role of the victim mentality to stir up drama views because his channel is dying without the drama. Go fuck yourself, okay? Seriously, go F yourself. How I handle these situations, you just got to keep going. Take a deep breath. Go out and take a walk like I do. The simple answer, how I handle it, right? I come out, take a walk. I share my stories with people as part of what I do here for my business, the GNA, right? And you got to talk about it with friends. In this case, I also talk about it with Dawn. Not all the time when she's open to it, because I don't want to make her feel any worse, even though I'm not the one causing her problems. If I try to talk about it with her when she's not ready to talk about it, that's going to make matters worse. And see, guys, that's one thing you have to learn about women. You got to let them come to you. Like, if you want to talk with them about something and they're not ready to talk about it, you got to say, okay, we need to talk about it at some point, but, I'm going to go take care of some stuff, and you let me know, babe, when you're ready to talk about it, but at some point, we got to talk about it, right? And that's that, right? Give them space, give them time and space, and then let them come to you, right? And that's what happens with Dawn. Now, don't get me wrong, I have my moments too, and sometimes, I never get angry or mad. I'm not a violent guy at all, but sometimes I'll snap and I'll overreact for a second, and then I'll just say, okay, it's just not worth it, right? Take a deep breath, Eli. Take a deep breath. This is not her fault. It's not your fault. You're both a victim of circumstance, and we got to find a way to balance it out. We got to find a way to either, hey, get through to the family, which the easiest way to fix this would be to, get Dawn's mom to just fix the whole thing and bring the whole family back together. That'd be the nicest thing to do. That'd be the mature thing to do, right? That'd be the family-oriented type of thing to do. But if that's not going to happen, I'm trying to find ways to help Dawn just move past this. And she just can't move past it. Because here's the thing. She's that loyal to family. Can you blame someone for being that loyal to family? I don't care what any of you fucking think about me from the past or whatever, right? Can you blame somebody for being that loyal to family? And don't come back and say, oh, she mistreated those kids. She did stupid shit when she was young. Everyone's done stupid shit. Everyone's made mistakes. But let me tell you this. Her kids and her mother and everyone else has made, I'm telling you this right now, the people that are holding her accountable for these mistakes, if that's what it is, have done 10 times worse. That includes her daughter, her son, and her mother. And that's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. Big fucking hypocrites, right? Sandra says, thus there is an attachment with a biological mother and the mother who raised you. Correct? Sandra says, furthermore, in general, bonds can be made and broken. Well, the truth of the matter is the kids usually turn out in the ways that their mothers raised them. What people don't realize is that when Dawn was working as a nurse, Dawn's mother was raising her daughter most of the time. So, whose characteristics do you think Dawn's daughter took after? Took after Dawn's mother's characteristics. So maybe even Dawn's daughter sees Dawn's mother, her grandmother, more like a mother, which is really messed up. And this is the thing. I'll say this before we go off the air. This is another thing. This is no problem with women working in the workforce, right? No problem with women having careers. But look at this situation. Look at what Dawn's career cost her. If she was a stay-at-home mom raising these kids and her mother didn't raise them full-time while she was working and her husband was working, then Dawn's daughter would have probably gotten more of Dawn's traits. You see what I'm saying? This is something, I'm not trying to criticize women. I'm just saying, look at how feminism and women being liberated, look at how feminism and women being liberated has affected the family life, the people that want the family, right? T.S. says, Sandra, I kind of agree about Dawn's mom. She probably won't budge. No, she probably won't, because that's how she's choosing to be, right? But if something happens to her daughter, then at that point she cares all of a sudden. If her mother cares enough about whether her daughter is around or not, and I mean lives or not, because this is affecting this is something that could push anyone over the edge. If her mother is affecting if her mother cares that much about her daughter being alive, then there's no reason why she shouldn't care enough to fix this whole thing. The reason why she's not fixing it is because she would have to own up to shit that would embarrass her, and she doesn't want to do that. And that's pretty shitty for a grown-ass, late 60s woman to not want to own up to her shit that has, emotionally affected her daughter's life. God. I'm a guy out here. I'm a strong dude out here, and I'm calling her out. I'm saying I understand. It sounds like I understand Dawn's emotions, wants, and needs, or even women's emotions, wants, and needs at a general level. I understand that better than Dawn's mom does. Maybe Dawn's mom wishes that she was more so masculine, because she sometimes behaves more like that. Like, this behavior, honestly, is more masculine to me than feminine. Feminine energy would have already fixed this issue. But yeah, you liberate women, no problem. I get it. It's all good. Look what happens. You liberate women, and look at the chaos. Look what it's done to the family household, right? Look what it's done. I've been talking about this for years. I've been scrutinized about this for years, but it's nothing but the truth. This issue was something we discussed the other day. Are you talking about behind the scenes, Sandra? I don't listen to most of those messages unless I'm invited in that group. Sandra, that group is for you ladies, and I've been respecting. For the first time, Sandra, like I've been relinquishing a lot of control and stuff, because I'm overwhelmed first and foremost, but second of all, honestly, the organization is not going to move forward. The GNA is not going to move forward if I don't relinquish control to people I trust. And I trust you, Tia, Queen Helen Casey, and Dawn at the level to relinquish that control. But yeah, all I want to do is take the pain away from Dawn, I'll take the bullets from her. Right? I never had a problem with her mother coming at me, but her mother's coming at Dawn and myself. Right? If her mother just came at me, one thing. But her mother's coming at her and me. And that to me is just way too much. Right? If you're coming at me, over stuff regarding your daughter, then you got to make more effort to support your daughter regarding what she's going through and help her solve the issues, because otherwise it doesn't make any sense. Because all I'm trying to do is the same thing. Sandra says, my mom wouldn't let this happen. My parents raised 5 kids. If my dad got wind that one of us was not talking, he'd get us together and work it out. He never let it go, ever. It makes it easier for mom to include you, Eli. Of course it does, because she wants to pass the blame on me. Right, Sandra? Sandra, I'm not saying I'm all that, and I'm not telling you to agree just to agree, but it's the truth. I am the scapegoat. I am the easy way out for her mom. If she's able to blame me, and then it's called blame shifting, Sandra. You know it, right? You nailed it. So Dawn's mom blames me, and that way it makes it appear to Dawn like the reason why Dawn's mom isn't talking to Dawn, or Dawn's daughter isn't talking to Dawn, is because of me. But the truth of the matter is, it's primarily because of Dawn's mom. Blame shifting, right? And that's what triggers me more, Sandra. Listen, you know why I'm triggered. I'm rightfully triggered, but I'm still keeping my cool. Don't get me wrong. But yeah, before we go off the air, let's see. Sandra says, in a roundabout way, yes. Well, thank you for that, Sandra. All right. Tia, Sandra, everyone else, thank you so much, folks. This is the end of another month. Thank you to ODN for your $10 super chat, brother. We didn't hit our goal. We were a little bit shy, but you know what? We still did okay, and I'll find other ways to make up for the $150 or so that we were short of our goal this month. You folks still have time to donate before midnight Pacific, and you can do so Cash App, PayPal. Well, you can do that anytime, but if you want to do it through Google system, you can go to the Super Thanks on any live stream replay that's been processed already here on Coach Eli 2, and you can send a paid highlighted message through the chat or through the comment section. Have a good night. Take care, all. Tia, thank you so much. Okay, see y'all later. Have a good one, folks. Take care, and as always, be good to each other.